Straight up, how the East, how the phone don't stop. Watch the trunk pop.
What's poppin'? What's happening? What it do? What it do? So, y'all already know, man. I had to jump in with the big news going on. I'm sure most of y'all done heard about it. In case you didn't, 2 contrasting styles by 2 NFL franchises. You know what I'm saying? Completely contrasting styles and views on how they was going to attack the offseason. And so we got to talk about it. Well, I got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I'm not able to get on with my brother, you know, my family, my kinfolk, you know, so that we can argue about this. But I just, you know, I had to, you know, speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Give my piece to, you know, our subscribers. You know what I'm saying? The people that rock with us, you know. So, I'm gonna start with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Excuse me, I just got through eating. So it was a week and a half ago, something like that, 10 days ago or so. The report came out that Aaron Rodgers had told Green Bay he wanted to make $50 million a year to be the quarterback. And to me, it was so outlandish. I ain't even paying no, never mind. I ain't even paying no attention. You know, I done me and Deron did a pod. Me and Dre did a pod. Like we talked, you know, about several different things, but that wasn't one of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know how many people really took that serious, that Aaron Rodgers was asking for $50 million a year. Like, this is on knowing that Green Bay Packers is some $30, $40 million over the cap. Devontae Adams got to come back. Several defensive players are free agents. They got to get, you know, below the cap line by the start of the league year. You know what I'm saying? Nah, dude ain't asking for 50. Like, he's 38 years old. You're not at. They gave this dude 4 years, $200 million. So the report was true. He really told them he wanted $50 million a year to stay in Green Bay. Never mind the fact that Green Bay, some 2-3 years ago, used the first round pick to draft Jordan Love. Now, I get it. Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back MVP winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to try and hold on to him as long as you possibly can if he's playing at that level. You know what I'm saying? You got a good team. You done won 13 games for 3 years in a row. You done had home playoff games 2 of the last 3 years. So it makes sense, you know, that you would want to keep him. Hold on to him. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a great quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And that's never been my issue. My issue with him is that, to me, in my eyes, he's the most overrated quarterback in the history of the NFL because he gets so much praise. They want to throw him in the same conversation as a Tom Brady, as a Joe Montana, a John Elway. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to throw him in a lot with those guys because of his ability to throw the ball. And Michael Vick was a great thrower of the football. Michael Vick could move around, you know what I'm saying? Roll outside the pocket and throw the ball. Steve Young was highly, highly efficient. He, you know, was the most accurate quarterback in the history of the NFL. He could also move around the pocket, you know what I'm saying, and make great throws on the move and that type of stuff. Your ability alone does not put you in a conversation with the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. You know what I'm saying? You can win a lot of games, be on teams that win a lot of games, and you can put up gaudy stats, especially in this era, where it's pass first, pass second, pass third, and pass on fourth down too. You know what I'm saying? It's a pass happy league now. So it's not about comparing him to previous eras, but you can put up all these gaudy stats, these numbers, these big numbers, you know what I'm saying, that are statistically could put you in a conversation with them. But when we start having GOAT conversations, he should not be in that conversation. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing he's shown us that should actually put him in that conversation. And people, love to throw him in there. And so to me, that's why I say he's the most overrated quarterback of all time. And now you can say he's the most selfish quarterback in the history of the game. In the history of the game. You 38 years old. You have not gotten to a Super Bowl since 2010. This is 2022. You have had great offensive weapons around you pretty much throughout your entire career. You have had above average defenses for at least half those years since 2010. And for the last 3 years, you didn't have a top 10 defense. The last 3 years, you didn't have a top 10 rushing attack. You got Davante Adams. And Green Bay has other receiving weapons. This dude refuses to give those guys a chance and spread the ball around to them, when the game is on the line. As long as they blowing people out, well, yeah, then he'll throw the ball to this guy, throw the ball to that guy, spread it around. But when he in a playoff game, when it's crunch time, he only knows that one guy, Davante Adams. And he got Randall Cobb, and he tried to, throw Randall Cobb a bone every now and then. But dude got tunnel vision when it comes down to the clutch, and he can't deliver. He can't deliver. And so, coming off a situation where you at home, coming off of a bye week, league MVP, you got Jimmy G coming into your building with a hurt shoulder and a hurt thumb, both on his throwing arm, and you couldn't muster no more than 10 points. Like, you lose at home, where the offense for the 49ers put up 6 points. 6 points. You lost 17-10 at home, coming off of a bye. You lost the previous year at home in the championship game to Tom Brady and Tampa Bay, where Tom Brady threw 3 second-half interceptions, and he could not cash in any of them. Down there inside the 10-yard line, could not punch it in, could not get a touchdown, and everyone wanted to blame the coach for kicking the field goal and taking the points and trusting his defense to get a stop. That's crazy. And Green Bay needs to be slapped. They need to be slapped. Like, you drafted Jordan Love. And even if at this point they don't believe in him, you do not pay Aaron Rodgers $50 million a year. You don't. You send him somewhere else. There are a number of teams who would have gave you 3-4 first-round picks, other draft picks, and even players to get Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee, Philadelphia, Denver. You know what I'm saying? There's a number of teams. That's the move you make. You keep Davante Adams. You keep your defense together. You know what I'm saying? Because you get Aaron Rodgers' contract off your books. You keep that team together, and either you roll with Jordan Love, you add a veteran to compete with him in training camp. If it don't work out, you got a bad year this year. You at the top of the draft next year, along with extra draft picks, where you can get you a franchise quarterback in next year's draft, where there's going to be, 2, 3, possibly 4 franchise level quarterbacks projected to be in next year's draft. That's what you do. You reset and get yourself another quarterback, and that quarterback comes onto a loaded football team with weapons everywhere, a good defense, good coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? And the weight of the world isn't on that guy's shoulders. And either that guy can come in and start immediately, or you can let him sit for a year, depending on who you have at quarterback. You trade Jordan Love, get you a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, or whatever, right? And get rid of him. Move on. Now what you've done is and then dude takes less money in year 1, right? He takes less money in year 1 so that they can franchise tag Devontae Adams or sign Devontae Adams long term. Devontae Adams already said he wants $30 million a year. He want to be the highest paid wide receiver. Okay. So at this point, that means subsequent years, his contract is going to be higher than $50 billion, right? If he took a pay cut now, then those later years are going to be higher. It's going to be impossible to cut him because of the dead cap hit. 153 of the 200 million is completely guaranteed. They've handcuffed themselves. And so then when that defense is trash moving forward, when the offensive line isn't as good, everyone's going to say, but he don't have no help. Like, the defense can't stop a nosebleed. And the offensive line can't. I don't want to hear nothing, bro. I don't want to hear no crying, no complaining, no nothing. Now, you the $200 man, $200 million man, you know, for the next 4 years. It's Super Bowl or bust every year. I don't care how it has to get done. I don't care who you lose in the offseason. I do not care. Super Bowl or bust. Seattle took a different approach. To me, took the wiser approach. Now, Russell Wilson is younger than Aaron Rodgers. Makes less money than Aaron Rodgers. He still has 2 years left on his contract. So Seattle really had no reason to trade him, to get rid of him. Even if behind the scenes he was saying, look, man, I want to be traded, I want to be moved or whatever, they didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? What they decide to do is, okay, since 2013, that's the year they won the Super Bowl. They have not won a Super Bowl since 2013, haven't been to a Super Bowl since 2014. Now, that's not a long time. That's only about 7 years, you know what I'm saying? 7 seasons, right? That's not really a long time. They had a winning record every single year that Russell Wilson's been there, besides the 21-22 season. They first losing season with him. So Seattle could have kept Russ and tried to run it back. They decided, since Legion of Boom been gone, Russ ain't been able to get us over the hump. He could put up numbers. He could put up stats. We can win regular season games. And this is in the toughest division in football. I'm not, disregarding Russell Wilson and what he's done, as a quarterback in the NFL. To win, anywhere from 10 to 14 games, 13 games in the NFC West year after year after year is not easy to do. So, I got to tip my cap to Russ, man, what he's able to do, but the brain trust in Seattle decided he can't do it, on his own. Like, he can win us games, we can get to the playoffs, but he's not going to get us to a championship game. He's not going to get us to a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And behind the scenes, he's saying he want out. He came out with that last year about wanting out. The teams that's wanting quarterbacks got a lot of compensation, a lot of draft picks. They decided to strike while the iron was hot. Reported compensation is 2 firsts, 2 seconds, Noah Fant, a defensive end, pass rusher, and Andrew Locke for Russell Wilson and a 4th round pick. So Seattle sends over a 4th round pick. I think Seattle also got a 5th round pick. So it's 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a 5th, and 3 players for Russell Wilson and a 4th round pick. So that's the compensation. And so Seattle, I believe, is going to, rebuild that team, right? Now, they didn't have a 1st round pick this year, so them getting a 1st round pick, an extra second, will allow them to draft offensive line. And they get the 9th pick overall, I believe, in the 1st round this year. Rebuild the offensive line. Rebuild that defense more the way that, Pete Carroll likes it. You get a weapon in Noah Fant. You already got DK Metcalf. You got Lockett. They drafted another speedster last year. Now you got a tight end, an athletic tight end to also, patrol the middle of the field. They had another tight end. I can't think of his name, but he's good too. So they're going to have plenty of weapons. You bring in a veteran quarterback for a year. And you let them compete with Andrew Locke for the starting job. If you're able to win, great. You know what I'm saying? You'll be in that position to compete for a playoff spot, right? Pete Carroll is a run-first type coach. He's an old-fashioned type of coach. He want to run the football, play great defense, have a quarterback that can make throws and not, kill the team, not make a lot of mistakes. That's all he really needs. And he's shown that he can win a Super Bowl that way. So that's what the thinking is for Seattle. And if worse comes to worse and they have a horrible season, well, then they draft their franchise quarterback next year. That quarterback goes on to a loaded team. Like, that's the way to do it. As opposed to Seattle saying with Russ, we'll pay you $51 million to stay. You know what I'm saying? We'll pay. Like, that's crazy to me. Anyway, I think Seattle did the right thing. Denver has a lot of weapons on offense. I don't think them losing Noah Fant is going to be, of any consequence. They could get another tight end to do what he do. He's athletic, but, he's nothing to write home about. He's not a top 10 tight end in the NFL. So losing him ain't nothing. They didn't lose Bradley Chubb. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't losing none of their great defensive players. No great offensive player. No great offensive line. Like, they didn't lose nothing as far as players go. And I'm shocked that they only had to give up 2 firsts and not 3 or 4 firsts. Because Rush is still in the smack dab in the middle of his prime. So, Denver got a steal. The only thing is, Russell Wilson is going to a loaded conference. Like, there's no bad quarterbacks in that division. Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's the division he's going to. You know what I'm saying? So, but Denver might have the best defense in that entire division. And so you add a quarterback like Russell Wilson with the weapons that they got, I truly believe that they gonna be a problem for Kansas City for that division. Like, it's not a foregone conclusion Kansas City gonna win that division. I didn't trust the LA Chargers, even with Justin Herbert, to be able to win that division over Kansas City. After what happened last year, I don't trust the Chargers to do it. I don't trust the Raiders to do it. Denver might be another story. Now they got Russell Wilson with everything that they got over there. It might be a different story. Thing is, do I trust Russell Wilson to be able to carry that team in the playoffs? But he probably can. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Denver got a real good defense, probably the best defense in that division. And so when he make his mistakes and throw those interceptions early in the game, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, that defense is still gonna be good enough to hold up, right? They'll be able to hold team to a field goal, keep a team out the end zone, you know what I'm saying, and get them the ball back so that he can do his magic late in games, because Russ is at his best probably unscripted. When his team is losing, you go in no huddle. Now he gets to run around, you know what I'm saying, call his own plays, launch the ball deep. Like, he get to do all the different things. He get to use his full package. And that's probably when he's his most dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Late in football games when they down a score, right? Fourth quarter, going into the fourth quarter, they down 10 and he got the ball. That's probably when he's his most dangerous. So having a good defense will definitely help him. We've seen that when he was in Seattle, when they had a great defense. That defense ain't the Legion of Boom, but it's still a really, really good defense. And they got playmakers all over that defense. And I'm hearing Von Miller is hinting at going back to Denver. So maybe the Broncos can get him, on a hometown discount, and he go back and try and help them get back to the Super Bowl. Get back with Bradley Chubb and the boys. So Denver is definitely gonna be a problem in the AFC overall, and in particular the AFC West. I don't expect Seattle to fall completely off. I still think they're going to be a highly competitive team. They got weapons everywhere on offense. They have to fix the offensive line. The guy that they got in the trade, I don't know much about him. I have to do some research on him. But for Seattle, it's all about the pass rush and the secondary. I think that they solid at linebacker. You still got Bobby Wagner, even though he's getting a little bit older. He's still a baller. They seem to keep solid linebackers. But yeah, it's gonna come down to the corners and the pass rush. I told people I thought that Jamal Adams was a bit overrated for all of the praise he was getting, because he can't cover. He's a great box safety. He's great coming down, in the box. But if you asking him to cover somebody, like he's really not great at that. And, they gave up first round picks and all of that for him. So they ended up having to pay him. But so secondary, pass rush, they got to improve it, and the offensive line. But I don't think that they're going to just fall off the map. Seattle going to still be highly competitive. They're going to still give people trouble. So contrasting ideas, philosophy on these two teams, I think Green Bay got it wrong. I think that they're going to pay for it in the long run. Yeah, you'll still have Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure that they're going to keep Devontae Adams. So they're going to be a competitive team. They're going to win 10, 11 games, a year. Excuse me. 10, 11 games, maybe 12 games a year. They'll do that, but the window for them to go to and win Super Bowls, in my opinion, is over with. Aaron Rodgers just slammed the door on that possibility, in my opinion. And so I don't expect them to be competitive. Not competitive. I don't expect them to be in the hunt for a berth to the Super Bowl for the rest of Aaron Rodgers' career. That's just my opinion. Like, I don't see nowhere around it. I know the salary cap is gonna go up in later years or whatever, but if you're gonna have a $50 million quarterback and a $30 million wide receiver, out of $200 million, they taking up $80 million. It's kind of hard to fill out the rest of your roster with quality players on offense and defense. That's extremely difficult to do, and the bill is gonna come due for Aaron Rodgers, because, like I say, if he gave them a discount this year, then that means in subsequent years it's not just gonna be $50 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be above that. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I wouldn't have did it. They should have let him walk and went ahead and pressed the button on the rebuild. They got a good roster. They got a good coaching staff. They should have went the other route. Got as many draft picks and players and compensation that they could. Kept everybody that they could to keep that team intact. And then, draft you a quarterback next year. You know what I'm saying? And give LaFleur his own pick at the quarterback. Somebody that he can groom and keep for the next 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Instead, he's now going to be handcuffed on what the team can retain on both sides of the ball. So, I think it's over for them. But, we've yet to see. I just had to jump in here, man, and give y'all my opinion. Most overrated quarterback ever gets most selfish attached to his name from now on. We're going to see how it pans out. Great start to NFL free agency. You know what I'm saying? NFL offseason. So, chop it up with you people later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video. And tap in with us, when we do our next video this weekend. Salute. Tell your friends about me.